Dears, how are you today? I hope you're good. I'm getting really close. That's a little too close for comfort. Um, so in this video, and I'm gonna do a part 2 and part 3. The beginning of the video I want to talk about, or the first video I want to talk about, when I got my eating disorder, when I was diagnosed with anorexia, when I was in the hospital for it, and my recovering during the time period of having anorexia. Then at my second video, I want to talk about how I'm still overcoming it and how it's a lifelong battle because it's hard to actually heal completely from it. Then my third video is when I want to tie in God and tie in the strength that you can, get better from body image struggles and even diagnosed with different eating disorders, because it is not easy and God can help you through, which is why I want to start. I know this video kind of started a little awkwardly, but I thought I would just dive right in. I wanted to start with a Bible verse that's very important, and I think it would really be a good Bible verse to start with. You've probably heard it if you've, I don't know, if you've been to church even just once or something. It's one of the most popular verses you hear all the time. But I just want to read it because it's important. There's reasons why it's super popular. But it's Philippians 4:13 ESV. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. God gives you strength. You can do things through him. Just have faith in him. But yes, I hope you're well today. But first, I just want to let you know, everyone, if you have had an eating disorder or just it's not regular at all. I apologize, I misspoke. Regularly look in the mirror and just feel bad about what you see. Body image problems, anything. It's hard. It's not easy to go through. It can really mess up your day. It can ruin your day. It can ruin your whole attitude for the day. It can really ruin you. And it's not easy, and it's an ongoing process, and I don't think I'm ever going to fully heal from it, but I can be better, and I can work on myself, and I can realize that with God, all of us, each of us are very important, and you are on this earth for a reason, and you can overcome so many obstacles to get better and better every day, even when you fall short. But this first video, I want to let you all know, my story when I was first diagnosed with anorexia when I was about 13 years old. Now, I am not anorexic anymore. I am at a healthy weight. Thankfully, I haven't weighed myself in forever. But yeah, I'm just going to start out with what happened. Hopefully you can maybe find some ways to relate, because everyone's story is different, but I hope this video helps you in some way, because no matter what, it is hard, and you're not alone. But throughout this 3-part video, I want you hopefully to realize faith, hope, leaning on others, the different things that help pull me through. Maybe they can help pull you through. So when so I've always been very active, always very active. I was a cheerleader. When I was diagnosed for anorexia, I believe I was 13 years old, but it started happening, I think, when I was 12. Let's see. 1 second, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was around 12. But I was a cheerleader. I did horseback riding. I was really into volleyball, bike riding. Those were a lot of things. I did dance. I played Just Dance on the daily. It was my job. I was jamming to Just Dance. The one song in Just Dance 3 I could do with my eyes closed almost, because they played it so much. I was boogieing down. But yeah, I did all those things. I was very active. Very active. But in 7th grade, I started thinking, I don't really know if it was more of me trying to be skinnier, or if I was just thinking I had to be healthy, because I was obsessed with being active and fit. I wanted to be active and fit, and I thought being active and fit also meant, obsessively working out, obsessively exercising, and eating very small amounts of food. I would eat just a piece of toast or 2 pieces of toast and some soup for dinner, which isn't that bad, but I wasn't eating barely anything else. I never did force myself to puke or anything. I may have thought about it, but I never actually went and did that. Part of the reason I think is because I love to sing and I'm really into theater, and I was like, if I puke, that might hurt my vocal cords. That's what I told my psychologist. Well, I'll get into that later in the video, but because they didn't want to believe that I wasn't forcing myself to puke. But I did not do that, and I'm also germaphobe, so I couldn't bring myself to do that even though I thought about it. So I just restricted food, and instead of forcing myself to throw up, I would just over-exercise. So I was barely eating anything because I thought that was healthy, and I was over-exercising. And I think in the process of that, you know, I was growing up, I was 12, 13 years old, I just had this thing where I needed to start being skinnier and skinnier because I thought I was fat. At the time, I was 105 pounds. Hopefully I can have a picture to insert here. I was tiny. I was not big at all. The most I'd ever weighed was 112, I think. That's small. It was like nothing. I was like 2 inches shorter than I am now. And I'm like 30 pounds more than that even now, and I'm happy with myself. Well, for the most part. Let's see. But yes, I am. But I was 105 pounds, and that's when the obsession started. So I would work out, excessive overload. If I ate so much as probably half a cookie, I would go play Just Dance for an extra 45 minutes to work that off. Or I would probably go on an extra hour on my bike ride, 3 extra miles. I would do anything, go hit the volleyball a few more times, just to make sure in my head I'm burning off those calories, when in reality, probably already burned them off. Probably needed those calories because I didn't eat enough, or I was just overestimating what I burned anyway and I wasn't doing anything. It was crazy. I got to a point where, you know, at my height, and like for me, it wasn't healthy that I was wearing the sizes I was wearing. Size 0 was like baggy on me, but I still thought I was fat. I remember looking in the mirror and still thinking I was fat. I will hopefully insert a photo here, hopefully, of when I was growing skinnier and skinnier. You can see my eyes are sunken in. I look sick as all get out. I don't look happy. I remember my mom, she knew something was wrong because, you know, I was starting to get headaches. I wasn't feeling well. My legs were looking as thin as all get out. It was a little ridiculous. I remember my mom said, Molly just doesn't seem happy anymore. She doesn't seem happy. She's not out there. Because I would, you know, me and my dad are really, really close. Me and my mom are close too, but me and my dad, she's like, you never are out there having fun with your dad, talking to your dad, smiling and laughing anymore. Because I wasn't. I wasn't happy. All I was obsessed with was being skinny or fit or whatever it was in my mind. Again, this was about 6 years ago, so it's hard for me to remember everything 6, 7 years ago. Everything about eating and exercising overcame my mind and became an unhealthy obsession. So I remember, let's see, where was I? So I remember my mom called one day to take me to the doctor because I was having headaches and everything. And I think my brother or my sister had to go to the doctor too. And I said, no, Mom, I'm feeling better. I'm fine. I don't have to go. And Mom was like, no, we're going to the doctor. We don't know what's wrong. So I went to the doctor and they weighed me. And I was about 85 pounds at that time. And they were like, this doesn't seem right. And they thought I had diabetes or something, so they were sending me to all kinds of different hospitals to get blood work done and try to see what was wrong with me. They couldn't find anything wrong with me, because there wasn't, and I knew there was nothing wrong with me. I knew what I was doing to myself, and I didn't care. I knew what I was doing, but I was just went along with it, because I was like, oh, maybe they will find something medically wrong with me, and that'll explain it all. Well, they sent me up to Akron Children's, and I met with a food specialist and a doctor, and that's when they said, hey honey, you're being diagnosed with anorexia. So I was about 85 pounds when I got admitted. Not admitted, I wasn't admitted yet. I went into the hospital, and that's when the weekly check-ins happened, and the weekly, you know, they would weigh me every time. I used to be able to look at the scale, but then eventually they're like, you can't even look at the scale. I'm like, I don't even know what that means in kilograms anyway, so let me look at that scale. In reality, I could just go home and be like, what does this mean in kilograms to pounds? But, you know, I kind of play dumb. I'm not gonna lie, that's something I sometimes do. I kind of play dumb to just go along with things. It's really I shouldn't do that. It's dumb. Don't play dumb. But that's what I would do at the time. Anywho, they wouldn't let me see what I weighed. So I would meet with the doctor, and she would talk about the medical stuff. You know, you have to get healthier, obviously, because I was slowly dying. And then they would send me over to the food specialist, and they would be like, honey, what did you eat? She'd be like, show me how much meat you ate. And she would show me like a deck of cards, and she would be like, is this how much meat you ate? And I'd be like, yeah, I ate like 2 of those. And my mom would be like, no, you didn't. And I'd be like, yes, I ate that. I probably really did it. So then they would set me with the food I was supposed to eat, and they gave me a bunch of rules for my life, and this is where my life went downhill, and it was all my fault. So it was all my fault. So first off, I wasn't allowed to be active at all. So no more bike riding, no more dancing, no more volleyball, no more nothing, no more nothing, no more gym class. I wasn't allowed to do gym class. That was horrible. They sent me in the back because I couldn't do gym class. They would send me in the back, and I would get to do yoga. Okay, this was the most boring thing in the world. I wanted to be out playing volleyball and doing burpees. The only thing I was allowed to do in gym class was the archery, because that required barely any calorie burning. And so they would send me back to do yoga. Sometimes I did the yoga because I guess sometimes it could be fun, but a lot of times I would just read. And I remember in the locker room, I was sitting back there reading, and since I was supposed to be doing yoga, I didn't want to be caught reading. So whenever someone would come in, I'd be like, oh gosh. So I would get on the floor all of a sudden and be like and start pretending to do yoga, because I didn't want to be caught reading my book in the locker room because I wasn't allowed to be in gym class. It was a bummer, it really was. But sometimes for gym class, we would go over to the gym. Not the gymnasium, the gym. So I would do the stationary bike and be like, look at me burning off all my calories that I'm eating because I'm 85 pounds and I gotta lose, you know, that peanut butter I ate. I wasn't making any sense. I thought I was getting away with things. I thought I was being a sneaky girl. I was not being a sneaky girl. And in reality, I was still lucky I was allowed to do yoga, because the doctors even might have thought that was too much calorie burning. So I did sometimes do the yoga, okay? I sometimes did the yoga. But I also wasn't allowed, this was a bummer, I wasn't allowed to bake or cook or watch baking or cooking TV shows. 2 things I'm very passionate about in life are baking and cooking, and I'm obsessed with baking and cooking shows, Food Network. I watch Cupcake Wars all the time. I would help because my mom sold Tastefully Simple at the time, so I always help her bake and go to the shows, and like I would bake cute little brownies and things for her with her foods and sample things. I wasn't allowed to do any of that. And I remember thinking, this makes no sense, because when I bake, I eat some of the food I bake. And they thought watching the baking and cooking shows and stuff would satisfy me, and I wouldn't need to eat or something like that. Which I guess kind of makes sense, but that wasn't the same case for me, so my parents kind of bent the rules a little there. Another thing I had to do was drink these Ensures. Which was like 350 calorie drinks. They were little bottles. They were actually kind of good. There was chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla, I think. And they would have me drink like 3 a day. They were 350 calories a piece, and I would drink one with like each meal to gain weight. Well, I pretended like I didn't like them, and like, oh, they're so gross, ew. They were actually kind of good, but I didn't want the calories, you know? So my parents would be like, you have to drink the Ensures. I remember thinking the day that doctors were like, go get them Ensures, because every week I went to the doctors, I'm always so sad, like, I have to miss math class all the time. This is a bummer. It was once a week, and it's like, Molly, you kind of liked missing school. So honestly, I did a whole lot of that kind of stuff because I was sad and I was depressed and I was crying all the time because, like, my mind wasn't right. I wasn't healthy. Yeah, it was just a messed up time. But anywho, I remember going to get the Ensures, and I said to my mom, Mom, I don't just want a pot belly. I think that's what I said. And because in my mind, I was thinking if I gain weight, it's gonna go like this. I'm gonna have this big Santa Claus belly. That's what I had in my mind. My mom was like, Molly, that is not gonna happen. Because even I knew in my mind, when I was 105 pounds, I was fine because I had lost all this weight in like a really, really short amount of time. Obviously. So, yeah. About the Ensures. I had to drink Ensures. I wasn't allowed to cook or bake. I wasn't allowed to be active at all. Even walking around, I wasn't really allowed to do. I was pretty much sat at home all the time, and I read because anything was burning calories. Yeah. It was horrible. And I remember my parents also took me out to eat all the time. There's this one restaurant where I'm at, and they have the greatest sweet potato fries and chicken tenders and hot fudge peanut butter sundae. So my parents would always take me out to eat to get ice cream, because I would eat ice cream. I'm obsessed with ice cream. I would eat ice cream all day. I didn't even care if I was going to gain no weight. Pretty much, I would eat that ice cream. So they took me out to eat ice cream all the time. I remember one day I ate a whole bag of pretzels because I was working on a project for school, a scrapbook. And I ate a whole bag of pretzels, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I ate a whole bag of pretzels. I'm going to get so fat. I wasn't going to. And then after that, my dad took me to get ice cream, and I had a pretzel cone ice cream with like butter pecan ice cream in it. My dad said, Molly, because me and my dad ride bikes together, he's like, Molly, if you want to ride bikes again and we can ride bikes together again, you're going to have to gain weight. And I was sitting there eating my ice cream cone, and I don't know, that just hit me like, I'm missing out on my life because I really couldn't do anything. Even running around and going with my friends places was pretty much too much because my body would burn calories. They ended up sending me to a psychologist at the hospital. I had to start seeing her, and she was nice. She did like my hair the one time because I got a haircut. I changed my hair all the time, so she was sweet. But she would ask me questions all the time and be like, do you count calories? And I remember saying, no. It's like, honey, yes you do. Why are you lying again? I don't like to lie, but yes, I would tell her, I don't count calories. I don't know what you're talking about. Some of the questions that she would ask me, I would be like, no, and I was honest. And then like one time she brought in my mom and my dad, and they sat with me and they're like, what are we gonna call anorexia? And we can't call it anorexia or an eating disorder, because apparently that would be triggering to me or something. So she said, so I think my mom said, the monster. So we had to start calling it the monster, which to me was very silly. And I remember, because a lot of, the psychologist, she was very, very sweet. But a lot of the things she was saying wasn't registering with me, because I think I had more an obsession with being fit, which we will get to later and probably in other videos. Not so much being skinny, because I knew I was skinny already. But I wanted to be. Like I said, my mind wasn't right, and I can't remember completely, but I remember we had to call it the monster, and that was my last psychologist session, because a lot of what went down in there wasn't really helping me, because I wasn't really being lenient either. I would just be like, so she tried to help me, and she probably did her best it could, but yeah, that didn't end up working out the best. Well, anywho, flash forward, my life, one time I forget if this was before or after I was admitted to the hospital, but I was drinking, I had an Ensure, and my mom made chili. Well, I had to get all my calories in. I would drink like Shamrock shakes and stuff like that. That was a lot of calories, and I love Shamrock shakes and things like that. But I remember, because I wasn't even allowed to pack my lunch. Everyone had to pack my lunch. There was teachers at school monitoring me to make sure I was eating my food. But then I remember, where was I? One night my mom made chili, and I had to eat the chili, you know. Chili can be full of calories and stuff, but it's good, and my mom's chili is delicious. Well, anywho, I didn't want to eat the chili that night, and my mom sat it down in front of me. This is so embarrassing. Sat the chili down in front of me with the Ensure, and she said, please eat this, Molly. And I said, no. And I remember I was like, Molly, you gotta eat it. You gotta eat it. And I remember I went down to the basement stairs and sat there and just started bawling my eyes out because I could not bring myself to eat the chili. Well, then my dad was like, Molly, you have to eat this. My parents were worried about me because I was watching myself die. And when I would go back to the doctors, a lot of times I was going down in weight. From 85 pounds, I was going down more. So I remember my dad chased me out of the house. Not chased me in a mean way, that sounds bad. He ran out of the house to find me. I was hysterical, crying like, I am not going to eat that chili. I'm not putting that chili in my mouth. It's really embarrassing, and this is the type of stuff that happened all the time. And they were like, you just have to eat the chili. I was like, I'm not eating it. I ended up eating it, crying my eyes out. Everything. I would look at food and cry like I was a mess. Sometimes I thought I was fine. Sometimes I thought I wasn't. Sometimes I was like, I'm gonna get better. It was a constant struggle. Like I'm saying, it is not easy to get through. It is not funny. It is not silly. Sometimes I can look back at certain things and laugh, but it is absolutely horrid. Especially, you know, no matter what, it's horrid. But I remember I was pretty much bedridden, and I just cried at everything. Everything. I cried about everything. And my dad cared about me so much, and so did my mom. Running out of the house to get their daughter to eat food so she can survive. That's a horrible thing, and I feel so bad that I made my parents go through that. And anywho, I ended up dropping to 79 pounds. That's when I got admitted to the hospital. So I remember going into the hospital for a checkup, you know, to see how I am. They weighed me. The doctor came in. Me and my mom were planning to go out to eat because we always went out to eat after my checkups because it always made me feel better and it was a way for me to eat. And the doctor said, oh, we can't let you go home. Yeah. I was allowed to go home. And I was like, why not? And the funny thing is, I still have the same tank. I remember I was wearing pink skinny jeans, and I was wearing a zebra colorful tank top. I was 79 pounds at that time. I was wearing that tank top. I'm probably around 140 pounds now. I don't know. And I can still fit in that tank top. That's how small I was. But yeah, I was at 79 pounds, and I didn't know I was down to 79 until like a couple weeks ago when my mom told me. The lady said, we can't let you go home. You might die. And I was like, that didn't really register with me so much, and it kind of did, but I was like, I'm supposed to go out to eat with my mom afterwards, and I have picture day this week, and it's fun week. And in reality, I didn't really care about picture day or fun week. I just didn't want to go to the hospital, because the following week was Easter, and I just didn't want to be admitted to the hospital, you know. Plus, I'm a germaphobe. I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. I remember I had my outfit picked out for picture day. It was this cute sparkly jeans and little pretty flower coral flats or something. I don't know. It was a cute outfit. That doesn't really matter. But anywho, I remember I ran over into the corner of the room, the doctor's office, sat on the floor and just cried and cried and cried. The therapist had to come in. She's like, Molly, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. Anywho, I ended up walking over to the hospital. You know, they put an IV in. My heart rate was skyrocketing. They had to start pretty much, you know, I was eating all the time because they would schedule my meals because I was dying. And I remember the night before, me and my mom went to see Mirror Mirror at the movie theater, and then we had Long John Silver's, and I remember being picky with what I was eating from my Long John Silver's because I didn't want to gain weight. And I remember looking in the mirror that night, and I remember what I looked like, and I remember thinking I was kind of fat at 79 pounds. And the scary thing is, when I look in the mirror now, and all through this past 6 or 7 years, I hardly see a difference. I always pretty much look the same. I can be 10 pounds more, 5 pounds less, 50 pounds more, 10 pounds less than that. I always pretty much look the same to myself. Some days are better than others, but when I remember looking in the mirror then, I don't really look much different than now. And I thought I looked fat at 79 pounds. So that was not fun. I remember seeing my bones, obviously. It was bad. I was sunken in. It wasn't good. Anyhow, I was admitted to the hospital. I wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom or take a shower for the first few days by myself because they thought I would puke. And I remember saying, I'm not going to puke. That's so gross because I'm a germaphobe. I remember I wasn't allowed to pick my meals because they wanted control. One of the funny stories is my dad, he was trying to help me with my choices because he wanted me to enjoy what I was eating. I was in the hospital, and I remember I was kind of being stylish. Like, I had my cute pink robe with black polka dots on. Like, I was trying to be stylish, okay? Because they gave me like little giraffe stuff, which was actually kind of cute. Because I was especially wearing the kid stuff because I was a kid, but that's what fit me. But, like, I wasn't allowed to drink water all the time, just juice because I had calories. But some of the nurses, like, they gave me water. They were nice because I love water. Well, my dad, he would be like, Molly, what do you want? Do you like this? And I was like, well, no, I don't like Sloppy Joe. And he'd be like, okay. Because they didn't want me to pick because that would give me control, and they needed to show me that I don't have control over what I eat, which doesn't really make sense because it's like, if you want me to eat, don't you want me to eat something I like? Well, whatever. So the nurse brought in, or not the nurse, someone one time brought in apples and caramel. Apples make me gag. I cannot stand apples. If it's in a nice apple pie or apple tart or something, I can eat it. Apples about make me want to puke. And they brought in the apples and caramel, and I'm like, you have to eat this. And I was like, I'm not eating this. I ain't eating this. And the psychologist, she took my dad. I was like, we gotta get her to eat that. We gotta get her to eat that. And I remember the nurse came in. Thank you, nurse. She came in. She's like, are you done with that, sweetie? And I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. So I didn't have to eat my apples or caramel no more. And I said to the lady, my dad's like, just give her a banana. She'll eat that. And I was like, I'll eat a banana, and that's more calories. I even said, I'll eat a Crunch Bar. That's more calories, because I would. But then, and then the psychologist and my dad came in, and she was like, where'd they go? And I was like, the nurse took them. And she was like, and I was like, yes. So me and my dad always laugh about that. The psychologist meant well, but you know. But when I was in there, I watched a lot of Harry Potter. A lot of Harry Potter, play a lot of board games. It wasn't a very fun time because all I had to do was sit in my bed. I remember a few days in, they let me go to the bathroom and go take a shower by myself without having to call the nurse in because they trusted me. I remember, I think a day or a couple days after that, they said, I could go take a walk. So I was able to go take a 10-minute walk, which was a lot because that was burning some calories. But a 10-minute walk, I was like, I can be active again. Like, that was amazing. I don't even think I went on walks besides like to walk around school to get to my classes in forever. I was like, I get to go on a walk. It was the best thing in the world. But that's all I could do because I had to just eat food. And the worst part about this all was, at the time, I was in a play at this time, and I remember thinking, I have to get better because I can't let my castmates down. I didn't care about myself. I was also like, I can't let myself die here because my family and friends will miss me, and God still has a purpose for me. I didn't care about myself at all. That was the only reasons I wanted to get better. And I remember also, I think now it was more, I'm upset with myself because I'm like, it kind of seemed like I was like, I feel like I'm taking over a hospital bed that could be used for someone who actually just isn't choosing to be here. Because I was like, I'm kind of choosing to be here because I'm letting myself get to this point. I'm letting myself die. Because I don't care about myself enough. But that's that was where a problem lies. It's actually a mental disorder, and you can't think like that. That's really unhealthy. Because you have just as right to be there and get better as anyone else. So don't think that you're unworthy of that help. You're very worthy of help, no matter what. You're worthy of it. So please don't ever think about that. It was like that with me. And I remember I probably cared about myself 5% getting better when I was there. Not really. I remember also looking in the mirror then. I was in my sports bra and I was about to go take a shower, and I looked the same as I do now. I was like 79, 80 pounds, whatever I was when I gained weight. And I looked in the mirror then and I looked in the mirror now, and I still don't really look different. My image was so bad. I cared that I was letting myself die, but I also didn't care. I just cared. It's like, I can't die because of my parents, my family, my friends. I'm in a show, so I can't let them down. And that's also, that got me through. Since God provided me a passion for theater, being in a show helped me through. But, that wasn't a fun time. Eventually I got out. I think they let me out early because it was Easter time. Because they were always telling me, if you don't want to get admitted to the hospital or you don't want to go into a program, you have to get better. Well, I didn't listen. And so I learned my lesson when I went to the hospital that day. And then I got out. And I will tell you more about that in my next video and where I went from there. But I just wanted to start off with that. But basically for this video, I just want to let you know that no matter what you think, you are worthy of just as much attention and care as anyone else. Because sometimes people make you think, you can just overcome something like that. And while you can, it's also a struggle, and your struggle is just as real as anybody else's. So believe in yourself to get better, and don't worry about what other people think. You are very, very important, and God can help you through. But I just wanted to start with kind of my journey up to that point, so in the future videos we can go further with this. But yeah, I hope you like this video. Comment down below, we can talk, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I really want to get to know you guys. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely afternoon, morning, evening, whatever it is for you. So you're worth it.